and welcome back to another video. My name is Nicole and I sell vintage home decor on Etsy, and I also have a small booth at an antique mall. Today we are going to be talking about all the items that sold from my Etsy shop in my first month back on Etsy and how much money I made. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you might already know that back in September, my house flooded in Hurricane Helene. My rental home in the middle of my city in Florida that I never expected to flood, that nobody in the neighborhood expected could ever flood, did flood. It was an insane, once in a century kind of storm. I had started my Etsy shop last June. At the time that my house flooded, my small shop on Etsy was only 3.5 months old. Unfortunately, we got almost 2 feet of water in our rental house and I lost a lot of inventory. I was also displaced from the flood, so I didn't have a place where I could take pictures anymore or store my items. Keeping up with orders and shipments just became way too difficult during that time, so I ended up putting my shop on vacation mode. Now I am finally in a more permanent living situation in a new rental house. And so my shop is back up and running. I have an amazing little office space completely dedicated to my business and also garage space for storage. About a month ago, I took my shop off of vacation mode and started back up again. It took a few weeks for my stuff to start appearing in the Etsy algorithm again, and almost all of my listings I had to take down because they were either lost in the flood or I just lost them between all the different moves. So I started up with probably around 20 listings. A month later, I now have about 140 listings, and this past month went pretty well for me, all things considered. So let's review everything that sold on my Etsy shop in this past month, the month of March. If anyone watching likes ginger, I love any type of ginger ale or ginger beverages. This is the ginger lemon drink from Trader Joe's. It is so good. Alright, so I am going to pull up my spreadsheet here. I have a spreadsheet for my Etsy shop and my antique booth. Whenever I source items, I put them immediately into my spreadsheet, so I give the item some type of descriptive title, how much I bought the item for, where I bought the item, the date I bought the item, and then once it goes into my antique booth or on Etsy, I will put in how much I listed the item for, and once it sells, I'll calculate all the fees and profit and all of that good stuff. I am going to get comfy here, and I'm also going to leave some space on the screen to put pictures of everything that sold. The first thing I sold last month was a small brass strawberry trinket dish. I actually sourced this from an antique mall for $10. I sold the item for $28, and after listing fees and cost of the item and all of that taken out, I made a total profit of $15.98. The next item I sold was this adorable duck basket. I thought this would be perfect for Easter with the pastel colors. I purchased this basket for $1.50, sold it for $34, and made a total profit of $30.09. Next, I sold this wooden book organizer. This is a cool kind of bookend where you can display cookbooks on your kitchen counter. I purchased this book organizer for $1.50, sold it for $54, and made a total profit of $48.79. You can see my dog's little foot right here. The next item I sold was this beautiful painting of a girl on the beach. I purchased this piece for $6.98, sold it for $84, and made a total profit of $71.36. Next was my largest order of the month, and actually my largest order ever. Someone bought 4 items at once from my shop. The first thing that they bought was this amazing needlepoint Perio clown artwork. I actually sourced this at an antique market. I purchased this item for $29. I sold it for $84 and made a total profit of $49.54. Next, I sold this cutie miniature wooden chair. I stated in one of my last videos that I picked up a bunch of wooden chairs, a bunch being 3, and I had never heard of anyone selling them before. I had never sold them before and I had no idea how they were gonna do. Well, I have an update for you, which is that 2 out of 3 of them have already sold. So if you're a vintage reseller, mini wooden chairs are definitely a good thing to keep your eye out for. I purchased this chair for $2.98. I sold it for $44 and made a total profit of $37.96. The next item, I actually found 2 of these at the same time, which was amazing because they're identical, meaning I could create one listing for both items. I sold them separately. It was this vintage wooden peg rack. If you ever see these, they sell in an instant. Both of the ones that I listed sold the day of and the day after I listed them. They're very popular and they always sell. I purchased this peg rack for $1.50. I sold it for $34 and made a total profit of $30.09. And then the last item in this order was this adorable ceramic bowl. Sadly, it did break in transit. This was my first item to ever break in transit. And I do think it's because I didn't use any bubble wrap. I thought I could get away with wrapping it in just a bunch of newspaper and that kind of bone paper. That was not the move. I have since bought bubble wrap. And yeah, so that sadly broke. So I didn't get any profit from that. But if you're curious how much I would have made from it, I bought it for $3.99. I would have sold it for $38, which means I probably would have made around $32 from it. But it ended up costing me $4.19 after the cost of the item and also the Etsy listing fee, which is 20 cents. The next thing I sold was the second peg rack, so I made $30.09 from that. After that, I sold this adorable needlepoint crewel bird artwork. Needlepoint always sells really well, especially anything bird or floral is very popular. This was actually purchased from a repeat buyer, which is always exciting. I purchased this piece for $2.98, sold it for $38, and made a total profit of $32.35. Next, I sold this cute vintage wicker basket. I purchased this basket for $1. I sold it for $28 and made a total profit of $24.98. After that, I sold this beautiful ballerina music box. This kind of had a Florentine style to it. However, it was actually made in Japan. The person who bought it lives in Italy, which was very exciting. It was my first order from Italy. I purchased this music box for $2.25. Sold the item for $38 and made a total profit of $33.08. I do not offer free shipping, so my customers pay all of their shipping costs and I don't have to account for that at all. This person paid almost $100 for shipping, so they actually ended up paying like $120 for this music box, which just blows my mind. The next item I sold was this cute little ceramic oval picture frame. I purchased this picture frame for $1.50. I sold it for $18 and made a total profit of $15.13. After that, I sold this cute barn landscape painting. This was another very popular item. It got a lot of likes on Etsy. I purchased this item for $4, sold it for $68, and made a total profit of $59.38. Next up, I sold these 4 mini porcelain dogs. I purchased this set of dogs for $4, sold it for $24, and made a total profit of $18.24. Next, I sold this beautiful, very uniquely shaped seascape painting. This was an oil painting. I absolutely loved this piece. It was so pretty. Believe it or not, I purchased this piece from Goodwill for $2.49. I sold the item for $78 and made a total profit of $70.44. Next up is this cute scalloped tin mirror. I actually got this one from a vintage market for myself, but then I ended up deciding to sell it. I purchased this item for $28 and I sold it for $48 and made a total profit of $16.68. This item actually was shipped to London, so that was super cool. Next up, I sold this cute 1970s owl key holder. I loved this item. I got it from the same vintage market as the mirror. I purchased this key holder for $18. Unfortunately, I either broke it or bought it broken. I definitely could have overlooked the wear on it by accident, but one of the key hooks was broken. So I ended up selling it for $34. It was probably worth around $48, but I marked it down a little because of the damage. But it did sell and I made a total profit of $13.59. Also, the person who purchased that just left me a 5-star review today, so that was lovely. Next up is this Bovano hummingbird metal wall art. When I bought this, I didn't really do any research on it. I just thought that it was pretty and I figured it could be worth something. I did not realize how much this item was worth, especially for how small it is. I purchased it for $3. I sold it for $84 and made a total profit of $75.34. Next, I sold this brass candlestick set of 8. I collect brass candlesticks and make large sets to sell. A lot of these candlesticks I had gotten months ago before I was diligently tracking everything, so I don't know the cost of all of them, but I predict it was probably around $20. I usually spend like $1 to $3 on brass candlesticks at the thrift store. I sold this set for $124 and made a total profit of $95.74. Next, I sold this woven wicker wall basket. I purchased this basket for $4. I sold it for $34 and made a total profit of $27.59. The last 4 orders that I got of this month came in while I was on vacation, which was very exciting to come home to. I sold this wooden abacus. I purchased it for $9.99, sold it for $54, and made a total profit of $40.30. Next is another one of the mini chairs. This was a cute little mini rocking chair. I purchased this one for $3.98, sold it for $28, and made a total of $22 profit. Next is this cute set of candle holders. They had tulips painted on them. They were so pretty. I actually had these in my antique booth for like 3 months and I was shocked that they didn't sell. Candle holders tend to be pretty popular both in the booth and on Etsy. So since they hadn't sold, I figured I would take them out and put them on Etsy. I'm glad I did because they immediately sold. I bought them for $4, sold them for $28 for the pair, and made a total of $21.98. My last and final order from this past month was also my most profitable. I sold this beautiful French antique red velvet crucifix. I paid $2 for this crucifix. I listed it for $148 and the customer had a 15% off coupon, so it ended up coming to $125.80, which made me a profit of $115.42. The exciting thing is that I have a second one of these crucifixes, and this item got like 115 views and 30 favorites, so very popular compared to my other items, so that's exciting. After adding everything up, keep in mind this is pure profit, so fees are taken out, cost of the item is taken out, all of that. This month on Etsy, I made a total profit of $996.14, which I am just so excited about that. I cannot believe how successful of a month this was for me. I did transition over to full-time reselling about 3 weeks ago. I haven't been doing this full-time for the entire month, but the last few weeks I've been full-time, which has really made a difference. Now for my antique booth, I won't run through everything that sold because I don't have pictures of everything, and yeah, that would just be kind of difficult. Maybe I'll find a way to do that in the future. But at my antique booth, I made $300.57 of sales, and that is after the mall takes a 12% commission. Okay, so my camera died, and it died a lot sooner than I realized, and I forgot to refilm this one segment. Also, this is an adorable picture of one of our baby rabbits, so you can enjoy the cuteness while I explain. So I made $300 in sales at the antique mall. However, the mall does charge me a rent every month for me to be able to have the space. My rent costs me $185 a month. So my profit from the antique mall was actually $115 for this past month, which means that my small business brought in a total of around $1,111 of profit. When I made the transition to go full-time with my small business, I set a goal for myself to be making $1,200 a month by the third month in. Considering it's only been 3 weeks of doing this full-time and I got so close to meeting that goal already, I just feel so thankful and so proud of myself. Let me know if this video was helpful and if you'd like to see more of these in the future. I made a couple in the past, which I will link down below. If anyone watching has a small business or an Etsy shop, feel free to leave the information in the comments. I would love to check out your shop. Honestly, I would love any comments, so any kind of feedback or questions, feel free to leave those below. It's very exciting when I see comments on my videos. It's exciting to know that there are real people out there besides my fiance who are watching my videos. I'm currently sparing the mailman from this little beast. Before I finish the video, I've been meaning to mention this the past couple weeks, but one of our rabbits, Pepper, gave birth and had our very first litter in our hutch. And then 2 weeks ago, one of our other rabbits named Jazz also had a litter. So we have a bunch of baby bunnies hopping around the hutch right now. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of them before we finish off this video because they are just so cute.
If I could, I would kiss you. The body doesn't lie. I'd hold you like soft water holds the sun against the sky. I know that she loves you, so I wouldn't dare to try. Hold you like soft water holds the sky. I'll turn in my lips, my heavy hands, and say goodbye. 'Cause I can't hear you moan, and I can't hear you sigh. I can't think about the singer with a hand against your thigh, when all I want's to hold you like the sun holds the sky.